Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my video. Today, this is my last video to complete my final assignment in Introduction to General Linguistics as my project for final test. Well, talking about Introduction to General Linguistics, so of course we talked about linguistics like the previous studies. So in the last videos, I would like to explain about the key concept in linguistic and applied linguistic, like the other video in my YouTube channel. So guys, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Miftah Rahmi. I am a student of Andalas University and I'm in the 6th semester. Now, I'm taking IGL class with Pak Anafi and Bu Ayumi. And we jump to the concept in linguistics and applied linguistics. There are five part in the key concept in linguistics and applied linguistics. The first is competent versus performance, and synchronic versus diachronic, and lang versus parole and part of speech, and language learning and language acquisition. Now, talk about competence and performance. Competent is a person underlying or subconscious linguistics ability to create and understand sentence, including sentence they have never had before. Meanwhile, performance is the real-world linguistics output may be flawed because of memory limitation, distraction, shift of attention and interest, and errors or we say psychological factors. And the second is synchronic and diachronic. Diachronic linguistics is the same thing as historical linguistics. Diachronic linguistics is the study of the changes in language over time. Meanwhile, synchronic linguistics is the study of linguistics, elements and usage of a language at a particular moment. Diachronic analysis can be the general evolution of a languages or the evolution of particular language or dialect. So, synchronic analysis as a single frame in a role of a film. Meanwhile, diachronic analysis would be the study of all the frames. So, the diachronic is should be the analysis of the frame, all the frame, and synchronic is a single frame in a role of a film. Or something. And then Saussure also favor the synchronic approach. Each approach has its benefits. The diachronic approach might focus more on interplay of historical events and language changes. Meanwhile, the synchronic approach of English in America today would look at things like texting, email, and all modes of expression language in order to see how those manifestations of language reveal the structure of a language. And next, also in diachronic and synchronic, so the diachronic more general than the synchronic, because synchronic is the sub from the diachronic. Okay guys, the next is lang and parole. Well, talking about language itself is a faculty of speech, and an ability to speak is a part of what makes human unique. We all possesses the ability inherently. So in lang and parole, lang is a composite of all the traits of a language. thinks of it as a big container that has other part of language as we use it. Meanwhile, parole is the actual action that we engage in when we speak. It is essentially speaking. Another way of saying it, lang is the universal system, while parole is the pivotal agent that contributes to the expansion of the system. So, for the example, parole speaking is like palabra. Palabra, it means in Spanish, shares a similar meaning. The act of activities linked through the use of speech. Parole is the enabler of lang. Lang is embrace parole. And based on Chomsky's point of view, lang is he called competence. This is the ability or capacity and potential that is there to be tapped. Meanwhile, parole by Chomsky version, he said parole is performance. So, same like competence and performance. Lang is same like competence, and parole sounds like in performance. Okay, next topic is a part of speech. Part of speech explain how a word is used in a sentence. There are 8 main part of speech, like as a noun, pronouns, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Well, most of part of speech can be divided into subclasses. Preposition can be divided into preposition of time, preposition of place, and etc. Nouns can be divided into proper nouns, common nouns, concrete nouns, and etc. The important that word can sometimes be in more than one part of speech. For example, with the word increase. Increase can be a verb, like princess increases, and increase can be a noun, like there was an increase in the number of flowers. And talking about part of speech, there are such as noun or nouming word. Noun also called nouming word. It is the name of a person, place, thing, or idea. For example, Daniel, London, table, dog, teacher, pen, city, happiness, and house. For example, Amy uses pen and paper to write letters, like that. And next is pronoun. Pronoun, we also replace a noun. Pronoun is a use in a place of a noun or noun phrase to avoid a repetition. For example, I, you, we, they, she, she, it, me, us, them, him, her, this, those, and for the example, the part of pronoun. And the sentence is like I want to sleep. She wants to sleep. I want her to dance with me. And Mary is tired. And like and this is a pronoun example. An adjective. Adjective is describing word, like modifies or gives more information about a noun or pronoun. A verb is a shown an action or state of being. A verb shows that someone or something is doing. Adverb is describe an adjective or another adverb. It tells how, where, when, how, often, or to what extent, as many adverb end. For example of adverb is like slowly, quietly, very, always, never, to, well, tomorrow, and here. And next is there are preposition, conjunction, interaction, and interjection. Interjection is a word or phrase that expresses a strong feeling or emotion. It is a short exclamation. For example, oh, wow, great, how, oh, hi, hey, like that. For example, wow, I passed my English test, great, like that. And next is a language learning and language acquisition. Well, mm, talking about language, there are key difference between language acquisition and language learning. Is language acquisition is the manner of learning language by immersion. It provides the student with the practical knowledge of the language, whereas language learning focuses on providing theoretical knowledge of a language. That is the key concept of the difference between a language acquisition and language learning. Well, language is the primary form of communication that humans use. However, language is not something that it is taught to children. The child this is called language acquisition. The child acquires the language without any conscious through or study. Language learning, on the other hand, is a structured learning of a language. This is the process that most people follow when trying to learn another language. Here, the student is made to study list of vocabulary as well as sentence structure and grammar. This is the most common method used in school and language learning centers. And language learning also considered to be a slower process than language acquisition. There are people who study a language for years without mastering it. The main difference between language acquisition and language learning is that language acquisition is the manner of learning a language by immersion. It provided the student with the practical knowledge of the language. For example, the student might not know the grammar rule, but it is still able to immaculately converse with a native. So, based on that sentence, as my understanding, so language learning is the way people learn language is with step by step. Like for first step, they learn about they remember the vocabulary and try to learn the structure, the grammar of the language that they want to learn, and to and they are still follow the rule to follow the rule to understand and to know the language. Meanwhile, language acquisition it's focus on uh immersion. It likes when someone who do not and language learning focuses on providing theoretical knowledge of a language. In this case, the student might know the proper grammar rules and the correct ways of sentence structuring, but might still lack the confidence to have a conversational with a native. So, like I have explained that the differences between language learning and language acquisition. It is similar, but the rules to the rules to the rules of the rules to know and understand about language is different, but the point is the aim of this language learning and language acquisition is the same, is to know and understand about language, but the rule is different. Language learning is more theoretical, and language acquisition is more immersion. So guys, that's all the about my understanding about key concepts